Welcome to another live class with Beadaholique. I'm Deb Floros. I'm here today to share some fun things with you, and I'm so excited that you join us here at Beadaholique.com. We got past Labor Day. I can't believe it. It is that time of year again when we are off and running towards fall. It doesn't feel a lot like fall to me yet, but maybe to some of you. I hope that you all had a lovely Labor Day weekend. Eric is in the house and he says, let's make stuff. Michelle is in the house. She said, it's September already. I know, right? This year, zoom. I see a lot of people have joined the show. Tell us who you are and where you're watching from. I'm so excited that you guys join us. Tanya is here. Texas is here. Monica from Rhode Island. Hi, Monica. Connie is here. Oh my gosh, I'm sure that all of you are recovering from a long weekend. I hope you had some time to make stuff, maybe a little extra time to make stuff. Maybe you hung out with family or friends. Hi, Christy. Santa Barbara girl is here. Tilly is here. She's watching from up north. Tilly, I'm so excited about that. Christy is here. Hazel is here. Sherry is here from sunny Ohio. Nicole is here from North Carolina. Dee from Miami. Janet K from Northwest Texas. Oh my gosh, you guys. We're covering the whole United States here. Susan J's from Seattle. Lee is here from Virginia. Colleen says she loves my glasses. She's watching from Southern California. I gotta have big glasses to see. And let's see who else. Sharon M from Virginia. Heather, Indiana is here. And Almas is here from El Paso, Texas. Hi, you guys. So as I said, it is September 2nd. We are already out of the, the unofficial end of summer. Although it is still summer, I'm still feeling summer where I am in Arizona. So yeah, you guys, this is another Beadaholique Live Class. And as you know, Beadaholique is going to be closing its doors, but we are having as much fun as we can until that happens. So we're making stuff. We're making stuff and talking about jewelry making and just generally having a good time. So we welcome you here to the show. It is currently 40% off of all the things at Beadaholique.com. So if you are looking to shop for some things that maybe you love to get from Beadaholique or just some things that you love, there are still some things left on the shelves, on the virtual shelves. There's lots of things available, so we hope that you will take advantage of that 40% off sale, get some goodies, get some things home. And, if it's going to be, if it's going to be sad to close, let's just have a good time. Let's get some goodies out of it and move on with our bad selves. Let's see who else has joined since I've been chit-chatting here. Julie is here from Iowa. Donna from Knoxville. She says they're having nice fall-like weather today. Send some my way. North Bay, Ontario, Canada is here. I love, now we've got Canada joining us. That's awesome. Carol Ann from South Jersey. I know it's going to be sad when Beadaholique goes away, but we're having fun. We're not going to talk about it. Don't want to get teary-eyed. Monica says she's in Rhode Island. She said it's been in the 70s. That's wonderful. Sakaya, hello, girl. And from Kingman, the home of turquoise. And I love it up there. I love the turquoise. Myra is here from Louisiana, maybe. Chrissy is here from Arizona, northern Arizona. Oh my gosh, all of you all, Susan's here from Colorado, all of you all are here. So if you're joining for the first time, or if you need a little bit of a refresher, the best way to watch this show, if you're watching live or on replay, is Beadaholique.com/live. So you can go to your browser and type that right in, Beadaholique.com, and that / symbol and the word live, or you can just go to the website And typically when you pop into the website, the video will pop up in the corner. Sometimes if you're there and you don't know that that's going to happen, it can be a little unnerving. But you can also go to the Learn section of the website, and it will guide you with several steps to get to the live show. If you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, we love that you watch us in those places. We just can't see your comments live, and you can't take advantage of shopping live or on replay. So you can always watch these shows on replay, and you can shop the show on replay. Now, keep in mind, because the store is closing, things may sell out, and frankly, some of what I have in the show today may have sold out since I chose it for the show. I actually wanted to put these pretty things into the show today, but they are sold out. So I'm just gonna wear my pretty metal earrings today, and we can talk about those as part of the show. So if you want to shop the show, just really quickly, there's a symbol on your screen, kind of looks like a shopping bag. It is a shopping bag. And I have everything in the show loaded into that shopping bag. So if you want to get those things home to you, you can click on that and you can start putting those things into your own shopping cart. And you can check out and do all the things, and you can do that while you watch. So I don't go away, I just get smaller on the screen. You can still see me and hear me. And we would love for you to do that while you watch. There are also shoppable links that will pop up throughout the course of the show. So if you just want to pop in and check out that item, you can most certainly do that. Okay, you guys, I've yammered quite a bit already, but I want to get us going. What we're going to talk about today is DIY earrings with metal. So not just metal, but one of my favorite things to do is to take different components, put them together, and make wonderful earrings and interesting earrings, attaching charms to connectors and chain, and sometimes just to ear wires. So let's flip the camera down, get ourselves started. And if you are watching on YouTube or Facebook, come on over and join us over here at beadaholique.com/live. Okay, I have a clean space here. I'm going to start by showing you some really cool ear wires that I found. So I believe these are still available, and I believe that they are available in both metals. And I thought these might be fun for us to work with today. So I pulled these out. These are a really cool ear wire, and I have them here in gold and silver. These are 20 millimeter rhodium plated French hook ear wires with a loop. And if you see, they've got this little bit of texture that shows up in the front and on the side. And these little guys, these little loops down at the bottom, I'll show you, open up. So you have a place to attach all the things. So you open that up, you can attach a charm, you can attach a jump ring, you can attach a wire wrapped loop. Hi, Jane from Long Island. Hi, Bobby. So this is just a really fun, interesting little ear wire that adds just a little bit of something extra. So I've got those in the show today, and I've made some earrings already with some of these, but I'll show you the gold ones as well. The gold ones are beautiful, and they just have that little something extra. So if you like these, you guys, get these while you still can. I really haven't seen these out in the world. I do a lot of shopping around, sometimes just market research, and I have not seen these anywhere. So if you like these, put those in your shopping cart, because you'll want to get those home and make sure that you get them before you can't. So the very easiest thing that you can do with metal on metal. So you've got ear wires, you pick out some charms, and I picked out, I'm hiding them from you, Tierracast antique silver plated hamsa hand pendants. So I love hamsa hands. They are a symbol of protection, and they are used in all different cultures. And Tierracast released these quite a number of years back, and I've always thought these were super fun, super detailed, and I just think they're really lovely, and they just have a little bit of exoticness to them. So the very simplest thing that you can do with metal on metal is just open up the loop on your ear wire and attach a charm, and you have instant earrings, right? So I picked out a lot of Tierracast things today because I really do love Tierracast. And I've always thought that their quality was amazing, and there's so many fun and interesting types of charms and designs. So these little hamsa hands are double-sided, and they are super cool and super interesting. So if you just want to make the simplest of earrings, get some ear wires, get some charms, open up the loops, attach your charms, and you have earrings. Need a simple pair of earrings to head out the door for the day, to meet your friend for coffee? Earrings, you have instant earrings. Also, if you do craft fairs and craft shows, this is just an easy way for you to quickly put earrings together, put these on some homemade earring cards, and hang these up, and you could probably make a pretty penny with just a simple ear wire and a simple charm, and you don't have to put a lot of effort in to create these. So, Santa Barbara Girl says, I think you could run some paint over those and buff out the extra. You probably could with these. These are so much fun. So just something for you to consider. I thought that we kind of walk through all of the simple options. Here's another really simple option. Now, I checked these charms, and these charms are these connectors, I should say, are out of stock, but there are some similar ones. These are also Tierracast. They have a loop up top and a loop at the bottom. That is what is considered technically a connector. Now, all I did was I grabbed some amazing fire polish beads, put them on a head pin, and I wire wrapped them directly to that bottom loop on the connector. So if you see a connector on the show today, or you see other connectors that are still available on the website, this is what you can do with them. And I'll tell you about these beads because they are incredible. I must say I'm madly in love with this color. These are Czech fire polish beads, 8 millimeters, and they are a metallic green. Look at the flash and the color of these. So incredibly cool. Carol Ann, if you're talking about these beads, I love them too. I don't think I could actually love these more than I love them. They are a beautiful color, and I think these can really work any time of year, this color, but I love this color for fall. I don't know, the things are turning colors this, in fall, but I still think you've got a fair amount of green out there. So I love these. So this is another simple earring design. Get yourself some head pins, which I do have some in the show. Head pins, beads, some connectors, and boom, you've got an easy earring. Just a step above the ones we just looked at. Putting an earring or a charm on an ear wire. These is just putting a connector on an ear wire and wire wrapping a bead to the bottom. And it doesn't have to be complicated. I mean, this is a really beautiful earring with some metal and a beautiful Czech glass bead. So I thought you all might want to see those gorgeous beads if you're looking for some pretty beads to attach to your metal components. Now, what about a connector and a charm? So I fell in love with these. I am a big elephant fan, and Tierracast Also, I think these are Tierracast. Pretty sure these are Tierracast. These little elephants. Now they are double-sided. When I put these together, I didn't realize that I could have turned one of them in the opposite direction, but look at the detail of these elephants. They are the absolute coolest elephants. I'll show you that they are double-sided. There's the back. So if you have a charm and you have a connector, you can connect those two things together and you have another instant earring. Again, really easy, but a really cool earring. And these connectors are incredibly cool. They are not Tierracast, but they are a 15 millimeter triangle shaped connector with turquoise enamel. So that's an enamel in there. And you know, turquoise is one of those very popular colors. Tilly, you have these. I love these. They're just the cutest elephants. So turquoise is a popular color. Elephants are popular. So if you take these two things and put them together, they're super cool. Now, one thing I wanted to note is that I like to use more than one jump ring. For me, it's just a little something extra. So if you see, I've got two jump rings connecting my elephants and the connectors. And what it does for me is create like a little bit of a bail look. So it gives you a little bit of a bail look, but also gives you some extra security. So if for some reason your jump ring gets snagged or something, you've got a second one that might hold it in place, and maybe you have a chance of salvaging a charm if it was going to get lost otherwise. So Carolyn, I do too. I like that look. So if I can fit more than one jump ring, I'm probably going to use one. So I thought these were really cool. I love turquoise. I love elephants. And so this combination I thought was really fun. And Santa Barbara Girl says, I've started using double jump rings. Thanks, Deb. Yeah, I don't know. It's something I just started to do at some point and I just couldn't stop. I just couldn't stop doing it. All right, let's look at another cool earring. So we are going to make some earrings today, but I want to show you some that I made ahead of time so you can get some other ideas and you can start to get some things into your cart. I thought these looked very much like vintage Christmas. So look at these. These are a little bit bigger, but check out these components and check out these beads. So I'm going to set those down for 1 minute and tell you about where you can get these. So this is from an Antique Brass Global Bundle, and it's a 5-piece set. And so it comes with these cool metal connectors or metal pendants or charms, whatever you want to call them. They have a little faux pearl in them. They've got this big loop up top and this loop here. And it's kind of like almost an antiqued look. So I attached a bead. I'll show you those beads in a minute. You also get these, which could be earrings, big earrings, mind you, but they could be earrings, which I would just attach all along here some small beads. And these are all, like, everything is 40% off, you guys. So if you want a cool collection of goodies, like, this is how you can get some cool goodies at a really great deal right now. So I'm all about the deals. These have rhinestones. This could just be a pendant. I mean, it's big. That's the palm of my hand. So it takes up the better part of the middle of the palm of my hand. But I personally would probably put little beads at the bottom and make these big fancy statement earrings. They're not super heavy. They're not lightweight, but they're not super heavy either. So if you use some lightweight beads, maybe some 4mm or 3mm fire polish, you could probably wear these and not be worried about the weight. So really good deal, Tilly. I agree with you. There's also these couple of pieces that make great pendants. And these could, since there's only one of each of these, you can't really make them earrings, but But if you got two sets and you want to make a cool big earring, these are also really big. You could do that as well. And you could literally wire wrap beads or add some dangles or some charms and things from this piece and from this one. So super cool. And you get these, what I think kind of look like a bead cap, but I love jewelry from India. I am obsessed with jewelry from India. And if you know what a jhumka is, it's spelled Jhumka. These are perfect for making jhumkas. So you can take these and you can wire wrap a bead to each one of these loops at the bottom. Pop this loop onto an ear wire and bam, you have some cool jhumka earrings. And you could even do some paint on top of these. So I think Santa Barbara Girls said earlier that, you could put some paint on these. These are ripe for the painting as well. I took these guys and I grabbed some of my most favorite things, and that's fire polish beads. And I grabbed these red ones. So look at the flash on these. So these are Color Trends, a saturated red color. They're 8mm. These are great for the holidays. So if you're gearing up for your holiday designs, this red is super spectacular, very metallic, very cool. Look at all those bead facets. So I just added one simple bead to the bottom of each one of these components. And now I have this very vintage holiday look. And aren't those fun? And they're not super heavy, not lightweight either. They're kind of a nice medium weight. So then I've still got all of these to work with, which is super cool. So you get all of this metal and these two pieces. All you need are some beads and some ear wires, and bam, you've got some really cool, fun earrings and some other fun things to play with. So love, love, love those. And let's see. Oh, and so these are also kind of India inspired for me. So I'm really obsessed. And I can't help myself. I just am. Debbie J says, did the jhumka bead caps come from Beadaholique? It's not in the shopping bag. It's part of this set. It is part of this set. It's in the shopping bag. It's a 5-piece antique brass global bundle. So if you're looking for those little jhumka pieces, they're part of that little antique brass bundle. So and you get the other pieces as well to play with. So these are also kind of India inspired for me. So I grabbed these fun components. So these are 28 millimeter, say that 10 times fast, abstract clover shaped connector with a clear crystal. So look at the detail on this. They're almost like a little fleur-de-lis in those clover kind of petals. They have that beautiful little crystal in the middle, and they have a loop up top. And you get all of these loops on the bottom, 5 of them. So what do we do with loops when we have 5 loops at the bottom? We attach beads to them. So we've got here those fun ear wires in gold. And I took some check glass pearls they're 6 millimeter and they're in matte teal. And you get a 25-piece strand of those. I just thought that teal looked so great with this this kind of antique brass color and the gold. The teal is just magical. So these earrings are so much fun. So these are also not super heavy metal pieces. So if you're worried about weight, just think about balancing them with some lighter weight beads, which in this case, these 6 millimeter beads are not very heavy. So I thought this was a step up from the, some of the easier pieces, but still pretty easy to create. Just wire wrap your beads directly to those loops at the bottom. And you could also use your one-step looper if you have them, or do a simple loop to attach your beads if you prefer to do that. You could also attach wire wrap loop dangles with jump rings if you prefer to do that. So I'm crazy about these. So those pieces I hope are still available in the shopping bag. And next is probably my favorite thing to do. So I combined a couple of different Tierracast pieces, and then I used some chain. Now, the chain is out of stock. I just figured that out this morning. My apologies, but the store is closing, so things are selling out fast. Look at these. So these are super fun. I love to combine chain in an all metal earring. So these are two different Tierracast pieces. So the bottom piece is called a Mendy. And it's 17 by 24.5 millimeters, and it's antique silver. Look at the detail there. And then flip it over, and it has different detail on the back. Tierracast has been known for that, where they'll do a two-sided piece, but the detail is a little different. So you can decide which side you want to face forward, the more detailed side or the less detailed side. And in the case of these connectors, they are like a crescent shape, and they're a connector link in a Flora 3-hole. So you've got a hole at the bottom, and you've got 2 holes up top. And so, if you want to create an earring with something like this, you've got to make some choices about how to orient things. So in this case, thank you, Connie. In this case, I've taken that metal charm and I've used those 2 jump rings and attached it, and my charm moves very flowy and has lots of great movement. Then I connected this 2 millimeter petite Rolo chain. And Michelle or Eric, I don't think there is anything like this available still. I don't think in silver, but maybe there is something in a different metal tone. But the Rolo chain just adds a little something. And then I attached my pieces of Rolo chain to a jump ring and then dropped that into my ear wire. So it orients correctly, it hangs correctly, and these hang a little bit longer, and they're super fun. So think about those craft fairs, those pop-up shops, those sales that you might go to at the church or at the school, and how this might be appealing to someone who loves a long statement earring, likes a big dangly statement piece. And I think, as Santa Barbara Girl suggested, you might even be able to do some paint on these. Debbie J says she loves this. These are my favorites. This is something I would wear. I love this kind of style. And as I said, I love putting metal and metal together. So there's just so many options. Now, before we make, I wanted to show you one other thing. So when I was looking at Tierracast, I was pulling out all these beautiful charms, and I love this. So this is something Tierracast has made for a long time. And these are a replica of an East Asian coin. And I love the look of these. They look like real coins. They're double-sided. They have this cool bail detail, and they look great on a bracelet. They look great as a pendant. But I said, geez, Louise, I would love to make these into an earring. But that hole doesn't really work with an ear wire, right? So if I put the ear wire on, it's going to be hanging like this. It's weird. I can't really do it. But just to show you, and maybe you've got this figured out, maybe you already know this, but just in case you haven't thought of it, don't worry about charms that have a hole like that, because you can add a jump ring to it, and add your jump ring to your ear wire. And now you can use a piece like this for an earring. So I don't want to insult anyone's intelligence. That might be such a dumb suggestion, but sometimes when you see these kinds of things, you just kind of, you keep scrolling because you think, oh, I can't do that. Or I don't want to think about it. Don't even want to try it. So this is just a fun way to take a really cool pendant with that different oriented loop and create it with into an earring. And Santa Barbara Girl says those would be pretty with a lotus flower above it. Yes, so there are some lotus flower charms. Maybe they're a charm or maybe they're a connector. They're not in the show, but you might be able to find them. Maybe Michelle or Eric could add the lotuses. I think they were still available. So I don't think this color is available, but I see the silver one on the screen. So this is available. Look at the detail. I mean, that is just really interesting and cool. And it's, that double-sided thing, and you can pick the side. So either side is beautiful, or you could do one earring with one side and one earring with the other side. You could do whatever you want. Super fun, super cool. I love those. So I thought today we might do some fun things. So let me show you an idea that I thought might be kind of fun. So this is super easy too. So here's another hamsa hand. You guys might not be as crazy about hamsa hands as I am, but these are different than the first ones I showed you. These are a little bit bigger, and these are a brass oxide finish. So they are pewter, and they are double-sided. So this one is, a little bit bigger, a different metal tone, and super cool, just like those others. But I thought, wouldn't it be fun, just like the other ones, to make these just into a simple earring? And I found these interesting ear wires, and I hope they're still available. Look at these. So these to me say, hey, you can make an earring out of just about anything and make it like a interchangeable thing. Now, this may not be the perfect example because this is a pretty large hole, but this ear wire goes into your ear here. And in the back, you've got a little like ball end stopper. So if you're not out disco dancing, you could wear one of these, and it could come off the end. But if you have a charm with a smaller hole, then you could do this one and safely not lose your charm. The other thing you could do, and I think this will work. I didn't actually try it, but let's try it. You can use beads on here. I think we can get a bead. Maybe not. You could use a large hole bead. But you could do a much smaller, like a wire wrap loop here. So let's do that. Let's take that and put that onto these because these are really interesting and really fun. So I'm going to grab some head pins. Let me grab a head pin. And this is just a little brass head pin. I don't know if these exact head pins were available when I ordered for the show. I'm going to put this this beautiful red bead on this head pin. And I'm just going to do a very small wire wrap loop. So I don't want a big loop. It's kind of a middle of the road loop. I probably would want it to be just a little bit smaller. But I'm going to do a wire wrap loop. And I'm going to take my cutters, cut off my excess. I'm going to grab my favorite pliers and kind of straighten out my loop, close in that little excess wire. That does not come off the loop. So here's a better example than the charm. You can add a red bead. You could add multiple red beads or different color beads. It's not going to come off that end. So you have this really dramatic, fun ear wire, and you've got a little bead that will dangle off the back. So super, super fun. I just like the dramatic look of these ear wires. And I would always encourage you, although, you know, we're getting low on dramatic ear wires because of the going out of closing business sale. But you've got the ear wires maybe in your stash that you might want for for creating just a simple earring, but with a dramatic ear wire. So I know you guys might be thinking about Christmas. You might be thinking ahead about Christmas. These are also Tierracast. Tierracast is kind of known for a number of holiday charms. They had a series of Halloween charms. They had a series of Christmas charms. They've done some Jewish charms so that they could be used during Hanukkah or other high holidays. So here are some two-sided Christmas trees. Adorable, right? Really cute. And I love these with just a simple bead for an earring. So let's cut this strand open. These are fire polish. They are 6mm color trends. And unfortunately, I did not write down the color name, but if they are popped on the screen, you'll be able to see the name. So we've been talking about dropping beads from the bottom of something. You can also drop your bead or your charm from your bead. Probably an obvious thing, but in case we've got some newbies out there or some folks who are just trying some things for the first time, you can make an earring this way, and it's also really easy. So I've got a piece of 24 gauge wire. I'd probably encourage a 22 gauge wire for this, but because I'm using a small bead, I'm not really worried about using 24. So I'm going to create a loop, and I'm going to wrap it. Now you can also, if you are more of a simple loop person, you could create a simple loop. You could also use your one-step looper if you are a one-step looper gal. And so I've got my loop. I'm going to put my bead on here, like so. And then I'm going to create another loop at the bottom, but I'm not going to close it yet. So I'm going to get it ready, open that little wire up, and I'm going to attach it to my charm like that. Then I'm going to come in with my chain nose pliers, and I'm going to hold on to my loop. And then I'm just going to do a couple wraps around. And, here's my cutters. Grab my cutters and trim off that excess. And sometimes I get my wire wrap loop a little wonky. So I'm just going to come in and straighten that out. I'm going to grab my chain nose and tuck in my little excess. And now, friends, you have a simple earring that you might need to reorient your top loop like that so that it will hang right. And let's grab a pair of these. So I showed you these textured ear wires. Super fun. I'm going to open that up. Just open that up a little bit. And you want to twist it to open like a jump ring. And then twist it closed. And now look at this adorable holiday earring with a little fancy earring hook, a little spot of sparkly green, and look at that adorable Christmas tree. Super subtle, not too whimsical, but just enough Christmas for anybody. So metallic lime punch. You know what? That is the best name for this. Santa Barbara Girl, I don't know if that is the name or if you've come up with that, but I think we should write to the company and tell them that's what we should call it. It is so good. Thank you for the hearts, you guys. So super easy earring. I love these beads. Perfect. So we've also got, we've got these red beads and these green beads. So if you're looking for beautiful holiday colors, oh, it is the name? Oh, I gave you the credit for it. So look at these beautiful colors. So if you want to stock up for the holidays, now is most certainly the time, because all the things at beadaholique.com are 40% off. You don't need a coupon code or anything. So I thought we could do another fun design. So here's another, I don't know, I feel very, very festive, like the holidays. So here's another thing that you probably have seen before. And maybe you didn't know that Tierracast made these. Thank you for the hearts, you guys. Here are some angel wings. So I think angels can work for any season, but I know a lot of times these kinds of components come out during the holidays. So I love these. I think these are so lovely, and these are made by Tierracast. Now, there are certainly other metal versions of this out there in the wild, but I will tell you the Tierracast ones are an amazing quality. They are double-sided, they are pewter, and they are silver plated. So they are gorgeous, nice quality, beautiful, beautiful beads. Now they are beads because they have that hole right there in the center, and the hole will make them, orient this way. So if you put them on a head pin or something like that, they would orient this way. Or you could orient them this way for a different look. And frankly, if you strung them on beading wire or a bracelet, you could make them go like this to be a butterfly. Okay, look at that. Super fun, super cool. We are talking about earrings today, though. So Santa Barbara Curls says, could you turn one upside down and make them a focal with a bead in the middle? Yes, 100%. So like this here, check this out. So if we did a bead in the center, butterfingers, like that, look at that. Super cool. You know what? I could put that on a head pin and show it to you. I have one sitting right here. So if I did this, and let's say you had this on a bracelet or on a strand of wire, look at that. That is super cool, super fun. Or the other way, beading like a frame. I got you. Like this and like this. And oh yeah, look at that. That is cool. So what if you did an earring like this? Hello, that's what we're going to do. I just changed the idea and we're doing that. Well, it's Santa Barbara Girl's idea. So let's create, this is just a ball end head pin. And you could use a flat end head pin if you like. That is also an option. And I'm just gonna try. It's a little tough to wrap because of the shape of those wings. But I love this idea. See, this is why we all hang out together, right? To share ideas. I'm always trying to think about ideas for you guys, and then you come up with them too, and we are all able to benefit from it. So look at that. Wow, that is so fun and so cool. And she's saying, thanks, Santa Barbara Girl, I'm ordering. Is that Takaya saying that? Here's my other silver ear wire. So this one I already opened up a little bit. Let me open that up just a touch more. Let's see what it looks like on an ear wire. I think I'm going to love this. I think you guys are going to love this too. And it moves. So that's the other thing. So look, it moves. So it's like a fidget earring. Not that we don't already fidget with our earrings, but that is so fun. You could use a larger bead in there too. So this one is 6 millimeter. I have a few even smaller ones, but smaller ones, they're going to kind of get lost and you'd have some space in between. But you could do a You could do an 8mm in here too. So our little red bead, and the wings would just be a little further apart here, where they come together. So that is cool. I love that. So let's just look at what it would look like with a smaller bead. So let me grab another head pin here, another few head pins. Let me find, I do have a couple more wings. And let's do a smaller bead just so you can see how the smaller bead would look in there. So these are beautiful. Look at these. Oh my goodness, look at these beads. I didn't take these out of the bag yet. Oh, these are Halo Ethereal Ultramarine Check Fire Polish in 4mm. Wow. Okay, those are gorgeous. I love these. I had not opened the package, so now look at that finish on these. They're incredible. Okay, so if you want to do the same thing we just did with our bead frames, let's set that here so you could see it. Let's see what that would look like. So we're going to put this here. We're going to put the little small bead on the head pin, and then this one on. So let's see how that would look. Actually, yeah, see, so the bead that forces these to be too close to each other, but I don't know, maybe you like that look because they kind of overlap and it forces that spin. That might be kind of fun for you if you like that vibe. I see some hearts. Maybe you do like that. That's cool. Deb, make that component and put multiples into a bracelet. Yes, that is another. We're making earrings today, but I do like the idea of these being on a bracelet. I actually like the butterfly style for the bracelet. Like that's what I would do here. That would be my jam. Let's just show what it would look like with a big bead. I'm going to grab those green beads, those big green beads we were looking at from an earring earlier. And if I can get one of these off, that guy. So this is the metallic green. These are amazing. So you can, just so you can see like what you might be able to do here, we've discovered something pretty cool. So let's see how this one looks. So this one makes more space between the wings, and I like that too. It just is a really fun and interesting seed bead, not C8 bead. So I'm not seeing the comment related to that. Butterflies will be lovely. Oh my gosh. So this is cool, you guys. This is a fun idea. So the wings, if you want to use them more the traditional way, here's some fun beads that you can use. So a lot of people will use a bead like this. So these are a teardrop shape. So there's our teardrop. These are a Check Fire Polish 7x5mm teardrop in Rosaline AB. So what the vibe that you get is more like a true angel shape. So you can do like this and then take your wings and put them here. This could be the earring right here. You could also put a bead up top. So I didn't pick a coordinating color, but you could do like a small fire polish or a small round, like a little druck up top. So that kind of looks like the angel head. So lots of possibilities with these beautiful little wings. And again, the quality of Tierracast, I just can't say enough about. I really do believe in their quality. So those, I hope there are still some available so you guys can scoop those up at 40% off because they can create all kinds of fun things. And let's see, I would like to use these guys. So let me move a few things out of the way. I love these for an earring. These can be used for lots of different things, but these are Tierracast connector links. These are botanical branches, and they are 35.5 millimeters in length, and they have lovely detail. So how about an open ring on top for a hello look? I'm not sure what that, oh, like a halo look, I bet. Yes, you could do that. Love the branches, Santa Barbara Girl says. So you've got, this is a connector. So you've got 2 loops to work with, and you can literally attach your top loop to your ear wire and something to the bottom. What I like to do is a simple connection of a bead. And why don't we use our pretty little teardrops? So I love the idea of that. And because these have a generous loop at the bottom, you could do multiples of your drops. So let's just add a few to one of these so we can see what it looks like. And I'm going to create my wire wrap loop up top. Again, if you are more of a simple loop person or you like your one-step looper, you can have at it. Oh, you know what I just did? I didn't wrap it to the piece. Hello. Okay, wouldn't be a show without a mistake by me. I get so wrapped up and so excited about what we're doing. I just kind of get carried away. All right, so let's open that little piece of wire up. We're going to drop it onto the bottom of our branch. And the branches like don't have to be oriented a special way. Like they're both, the same. Like you don't have dramatically different ends. So here's one little bead, but why stop there? Because we can fit more onto that end. That loop is so generous. So let's grab another bead and open that up. And I like to make sure that I just let that hang, let gravity take that other one out of the way, and grab that loop and do a couple of wraps and trim off my excess. And I've got 2 beads. Let's not stop there. We have more head pins. We can do more. And I love the idea of a little cluster at the end of something like this. So this is just giving you guys some ideas of how you can bring some metal into your pieces, bring some metal into your earrings, bring some, some beads and metal together, or just pieces of metal together. These metal components are so much fun, so detailed, so lovely. There's just endless possibilities, and we've come up with some fun things today that we didn't, that maybe we didn't even think of before. So that's pretty cool. All right, so here's a cluster of 3. I love that look. So pretty. And if I've got another ear wire, let me find another ear wire here. I've got more of these. You actually get 10 pairs of these little detailed ear wires. So if you pick these up, you can make 10 pairs of earrings. And I'm going to close that guy up. Look at this. Oops, didn't quite get that one closed up. And actually, this is a pretty big component. So you want to make sure you get that around the end of this piece. Look at that. It's so lovely. So you can take a very botanical look and just add a nice soft pink bead to the bottom of it. You can grab the green beads. I mean, that seems kind of obvious, like a green bead would look really beautiful. What about our big fire polish bead? You could just add 1 to this. And, a lot of people like a very simple earring. So we talked about early on, if you're, creating things for a craft fair, or you're getting ready to gear up for that big holiday event at church, you can whip up these simple earrings in no time, make a ton of them, put them on a handmade earring card, and you could make a nice little profit for all of the fun, the fun earrings that you're making. And people will be walking around making your beautiful earring designs, and you really didn't have to put a whole lot of effort into it. So I'm going to show you a few more ideas, and because we're getting a little low on time, I just want to throw these out as ideas for you. If you're shopping today and you want to get some of these great things home at 40% off, you can drop these into your shopping cart. Here's another hamsa hand. I know you're probably like, oh, Deb, all these hamsa hands, but these are really fun because these have lots of holes on them to attach things to. So this one, look at the detail, double-sided, and this one is in brass oxide. There's a hole up top so you can attach it to an ear wire. There's holes on either side here, and then there's 3 holes at the end of the hand. So my pick for the combination here are these beads. These are actually some of the most beautiful beads I've seen. These are a 3mm metallic suede gold check fire polish. And the combination of the gold and this oxide is just really, really cool. So really a cool combination, just another idea for you. And you can grab some fun ear wires and attach those fun things too. So that's an idea for you. And if you are an Egyptian fan like I am, oh, you know what? These are out of stock. I forgot. These are out of stock. If you have these, if you happen to have the Tierracast Ankh charms, which is in Egyptian a symbol of life, you could combine them with a beautiful bead like this. So you could do a chain of these and add your charm to the very end. So I'm going to find, where did I put those? Here they are. So if you have a charm like this or any other charm, you can do a little chain of beads and let your charm dangle from the bottom. This is a coated opaque tanzanite, and it's 4mm fire polish. A gorgeous bead, and it's kind of like a blue, but a little bit on the purple side. A really cool bead to combine with, something Egyptian-ish or anything really. Just a few more fun things for you to think about. This is a fun little metal component. Look at these. These are so very cool. These are 30 by 21mm arrowhead shaped pendant and connector in antique brass. And look at the holes on these. So my friends, that means you've got lots of opportunities to add things to this. So you could take these beads that I paired with those hamsa hands, and look at how these would look all dangling from here. You could probably stitch some seed beads in those little holes there. These are a nice quality. They have a different look on the back, but they are really fun. And all you would do is attach these to an ear wire up top. So that loop up top gives you an opportunity to just, and it's a little thicker, so you got to really get that one in there. Open up your ear wire kind of wide there. And you might need to adjust that loop just a little bit. But look at, you can just drop that into an ear wire. Maybe a French hook, like, where's one of those? Do I have one here? I don't have one here. But if you had just like a simple French hook, you could drop that in there pretty easily. But that is just a really cool earring. This could also be a pendant. If you want a smaller pendant, that's kind of it in my palm. If you like a smaller pendant. So that would look really cool. And then I think I saw Julie work with these. These are really interesting and give you lots of metal to metal opportunities and metal to bead opportunities. They come in gold and silver. I'm going to show you both pairs. Look at these. And these are pretty lightweight too. They're not, they're not lightweight, but they're not heavy either. So look at what these can do for you. You've got a loop up top to attach your ear wire. You can drop a charm on this loop or a bead. You've also got loops, like holes here. You could stitch some seed beads in. You could hang some very small fire polish. Maybe, I think these might work. These little guys, probably a 2 millimeter would be best there, or maybe even a small, like size 11 seed bead. Look at the detail on these. They're a really nice quality. These could also be pendants. So if you don't like a big earring, this is a pendant. This could be a pendant easily. So I like the idea of maybe even some chain coming out of this and kind of dangling over the front of this component. So many fun things you could do with those. And I think I had, oh, look at these. All right, these are fun. I love roses, one of my favorite flowers. Look at these beautiful connectors with a rose center and crystal rhinestones. These are connectors. So again, you've got your loop up top. You've got a loop down at the bottom. Could be a bracelet connector, right? What color head pins would you go with? I don't know which one you're asking about, which piece. But I would say I try to match if I can. But like in the case of brass oxide or like a antique brass, I go with gold sometimes. I think gold, there's enough gold in that piece that gold looks great. If you like a mixed metal look, you can use whatever color you would like. And I've even used copper with a color like this. So if that's what you're asking, I think it's Christus. Let me know if that's not the right question, or if that's not the question you were asking. So this is a lovely component, not as detailed on the back, but certainly interesting on the back. But look at what you could do with these. These red beads would look really beautiful with these connectors. You could add another metal charm. I know this is outrageous, but you could. You could do that. Okay. And then I always got to plug these because I love these too. And we saw this last week when we were doing some embellishing. The eye charm, which doesn't have to be an eye. It can just be a fun kind of oval shape with some design on the side. We put a flat back rhinestone into this little piece. You can add another one. Pick your color. If you get some of our flat back rhinestone blends, you can pick whatever colors you'd like. But these are fun little components, and you could add another charm to this. Maybe you do something like this. That could be fun. You could attach the hamsas to this. So many options for these guys to embellish them, or maybe don't embellish them. Add a little paint in there. You could do that too. And last but not least, two more things I wanted to show. Here's some other color options. If you're not a green girl or purple, here's some beautiful blues to work with. So you can take these blues anywhere. You can use them with gold. You can use them with silver. These blues are spectacular. Both fire polish beads. This one, the smaller one, is a 6 millimeter Capri blue. Makes you want to go and travel to Capri and just stare out at the water. And then this larger one is an 8 millimeter. It's Color Trends. I don't know the exact color, but look at that metallic blue. So you could just take these, frankly, and create a bracelet and be done. But for earrings, if you've got these onks at home, these would look great. Maybe you don't want green with your Christmas trees. You want blue. and you could add these to your flowers. I mean, these are stunning blue beads, absolutely stunning. So we made a good mess. We made some fun things. I want to say that this was the fun idea of the show. Such a great idea. I never would have thought to put them in this orientation. Super fun earring. I still think these are my favorite earrings, however, of all the earrings. I made those before the show, but I love these. Super interesting and cool. So I'm going to flip around, you guys. This is the time to check out of your cart because, as you know, some of these things were sold out. So some may be sold out. So if you don't close out your cart before you walk away from it, you could lose and let some of these fun things get away from you. But thank you for like hanging out and coming up with some fun ideas and just looking at, you know, making earrings with metal stuff and beads and just, you know, enjoying playing with all of the fun things on our bead mat. So I hope that you guys will have some time to do that this week. I hope that you will come back and join us again on Thursday. Julie has her regular show on Thursday. I think it's at 9 o'clock Pacific time. And she will just be showing off her amazing ideas and creations. And I'll be back next Tuesday, but you'll see Julie again on Monday as well. So we appreciate you guys being here. And thank you so much for joining this Beadaholique Live class. I'll see you again next Tuesday. Have a wonderful week. Go and make some fun things, you guys.